The thumbnail for this video shows several of my heroes and some of the best YouTube help advice channels that I know. And I've spent so many hours watching these guys, hundreds, if not thousands of hours. And each of them has had a profound effect on my life. So I want to start off by giving them all the credit I possibly can. There are 7 faces on that screen, and I have bought programs from 4 of them. And the other 3, their training is so out of my price range, I might be able to afford them if I mortgaged my house. So I've done everything I can to learn from guys like that. They have proven themselves, they're experts in their field, but that doesn't mean that they can help you with your YouTube channel. And I want to do a little bit of a review of what I've gotten from paying these guys to mentor me and kind of an alternative approach I might take today to get there faster. So first, if you're new here, let me show you who I am. So this channel is called Rock Hill Consulting, based off of my primary channel, which is called Rock Hill Farm. I've got a screen share right here that shows in my 4 years on YouTube, I've done 166,000 subscribers, 88.9 million channel views, and $320,000 in AdSense revenue just on my primary channel. Now, that's not meant to be a brag. It's just telling you who I am and where I'm coming from. Now, before that, I was a factory worker for 18 years. Then I invented my own product, started a manufacturing business in the workshop that I'm sitting in right now. I built the website, did all of the sales, all of the customer service, designed the product, all the inventory, the one-man band kind of small business. We did about $5 million in sales in 7 years. And then I went out of business because of the things I didn't know. So right now I want to give you my first perspective with buying a program from a guru like you see on the screen. And I say guru, that almost has like a negative connotation. And I don't think these guys would call themselves gurus. As a matter of fact, this guy has a habit of saying, "I'm not your guru." But it's meant as a term of endearment. It's meant to say expert, trusted person in their field. That's what I mean by it. And the first program I ever bought was from Tony Robbins. I absolutely love Tony Robbins. And I've got to say that he's had one of the most powerful, positive impacts on this world of any individual person. The number of people that he has lifted out of problems is just staggering. Besides all the philanthropy that he does, his direct individual effect on people's lives is incredible. He's had a tremendous effect on my life just from watching his videos. Now, I bought a course from Tony Robbins about 5 years ago while I was running my manufacturing business. I was right at the point where I built something and I was like amazed at the success I was having. And then I hit that wall where I realized I was not competent enough to handle this success. I didn't have the skills and expertise needed to run a business that size. And I could see a path where I was going to fail if I didn't make some kind of change. And I was listening to Tony Robbins constantly and feeling like I was gaining so much value from him. I invested money I didn't really have into his program. And I think I was paying $1,000 a month for some kind of, I don't even know what the name of the program was, but that $1,000 gave me no access to Tony Robbins or anything like that. What I got was a weekly phone call with someone who worked for Tony Robbins, who kind of parsed out his plan to me. And one of the things Tony is a master at is mirroring and seeing. He gets you to lead him to what your real problem is, because sometimes we don't understand what is really the most important thing. And this was a program from Tony Robbins, but it makes me think a little bit of Hormozi too. Alex Hormozi, if you're not familiar, he's one of the most popular guys on YouTube, but what he really boils everything down to is making sure that you focus your energy on the most important thing. So much of us spend all of our energy on things that don't matter and then allow the important things to fall between the cracks. And that is what the Tony Robbins program did for me, or it tried to do for me, is they would ask me questions. We would take this call and they're like, "What is the number one problem you're facing right now?" And then I would struggle to answer that because it felt like there were 100. And they're like, "We need to fix something today. Let's fix something." And so we would boil it down to a problem. Said all of your other problems would go away if you could sell more, or if you could organize your marketing or your financials for your business. So we would boil it down to this one problem, and then they would say, okay, what real steps could you take to solve that problem? And they would have me write it down. And we went through all of this. And what it was focusing me on what I knew was my problem, but maybe I was ignoring. And I found that to be really beneficial. And then I canceled the program because I was having trouble paying my rent. And that just is what it is. I was having trouble keeping the lights on. I felt like I was getting value from this program, but I just wanted to try to implement it myself from there going forward, and that didn't really work out. But nothing negative towards Tony's program, but that leads me towards the first problem with counting on these people as gurus. They give you incredible free advice, and I think that we should be soaking up that free advice every moment we can. And as a sidebar to this, I think there are two types of people when it comes to this type of help information. The first person says, I'll just do the best I can. Whatever happens, I'll get the result. You might be focused on working hard. You might be doing more practical things and putting all your energy into the most important thing, but you're just doing it on your own. And then there's a second kind of person who wants to find mentors and buy programs and take courses and learn from all these experts. That's the type of person I am. I'm always trying to learn from somebody. And I think you need a little bit of both, because the person who's constantly watching videos about how to make videos but never makes any videos, that person will never win. And then the person who just blindly stumbles through it, and you've made 200 videos and you've never figured out how to connect with your audience. You've never figured out how to record better video intros. You need a mentor. You need some training. So we need to find a happy medium between getting training and just putting our heads down and doing the work. They're equally important. What I learned from the Tony Robbins program was that what I was buying was not Tony Robbins, and I should have known that, but I was buying a shadow of Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is a world-class communicator, and he has this vision that he can train other people to do what he does. And I was pretty impressed with what they had put together, but it was not access to Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins' time is probably worth $1 million an hour. If you wanted to hire him to coach you one-on-one, I mean, that's who he is. He counsels presidents and star athletes, and he gets paid $1 million for speeches or whatever the number is. He's above my level so far that I could never access him to get that type of help from him. And sometimes with these programs, I almost feel like Tony Robbins gave me so much free information that was so valuable that paying for his program is like putting money in the tip jar. Thank you for what you've already done. If I get new value from this new thing or I don't, it is what it is. But Tony Robbins was my example of the first problem with trying to get help from a guru is most of them are so big in scale that you can't access them directly. There are three more guys that I would put in that category. That's Gary Vee, Alex Hermosi, and Myron Golden. And there's a lot more. There's tons of guys I've watched that I've learned from. But those three guys have taught me so much about mindset and work ethic. And I just feel like they were such an inspiration in my life, but they're so far above me. There's no way I could access them directly or afford one of their trainings. Like Myron Golden, I think he's $55,000 a year for his base level training. While that sounds amazing, it's just not even in my world. So I can't even think about that. But I bet people who pay it get their value out of it. So now let's break it down to that next tier of guru. The first real money I spent on YouTube training directly was from Think Media, Sean Cannell. And Sean Cannell is a phenomenal communicator. His teaching program was just everything you could ask for. I think I paid $1,000 for the base, and then there were a couple upsells during the funnel. And like it taught me as I was sucked through this funnel, I'd heard people talk about sales funnels and I didn't understand it. Like, yeah, how's that better than a website? And I got sucked through his funnel, and it had all these pages, and each page sold you on the next thing. And I was a little bit confused, like, is this a new thing they're selling, or did I get it with the last thing? And I ended up doing like $300 or $400 of add-ons. I don't even know what I bought. I don't know. But I felt like his course was incredible. Also, everything in his course, he'd already told me for free. Because the only way to do what these guys do and what I'm trying to do is to give all the information away for free. And then what you pay for is implementation. So all of this information that I'm giving on my videos is all free, and it's the same information that I would teach you. But the difference is understanding how to apply that to your situation rather than having it be generalized to try to fit everyone, if you understand what I mean. And to hear it and say, oh, I hear that, I understand it, but then not really registering how to make it actually happen. So that is how I would frame any type of help channel that you watch, is that the information is free. All the information is already out there, not only by that creator, but by someone else. If you want to pay them, you're paying them to understand the implementation. Now, I have bought a lot of paid training programs. I'm going to say that the one I got from Sean Cannell was the best. It was very impressive. As a matter of fact, I bought that program maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and they still email me a couple times a week and invite me to training things. I'm not paying them anymore. I paid once, and they are still providing value to me like 4 years later. It's actually pretty incredible. But if I'm being real, what I found was when they send me these emails, it would give me a link to go into these live chats with other creators like myself. And there would be a moderator and there'd be like discussion points. And I did them and it was fine. But I felt like that skewed towards just a time drain. That if you're struggling and you're looking for advice and you're looking for kinship and you want to connect with other creators, there was good information being shared in there, but I felt like my time was better served to go out and do the thing. So I've gotten that email in 3 years, 200 times to join the chat. I've only done it like 2 or 3 times. Another thing that Sean Cannell's group does is like a monthly live stream with Sean where he brings members of the community on to talk. And I was brought on as like a success story. And I gave an outline of these are my 7 tips for how to, grow your channel or whatever. And Sean kind of interviewed me. And it was really like a thrill to be sharing a screen with someone I looked up to that much. But they've been asking me to do more of those. And I don't know how it serves me. It serves the people watching possibly, and I have a heart for that. But I decided if I'm going to spend my time teaching people, I'm going to climb my own mountain instead of someone else's. So that's the next thing I learned, that everything that they're selling you in the paid program is something they've already given you for free. Now, it's okay to pay for that, but think of it like a tip. And really, the most value a person like that can provide you is their one-on-one attention. So that means that course was all great information that I had already heard. What would have been more valuable to me was if Sean himself had audited what I was doing and told me how I could do it better. But Sean's kind of past that. You can probably do it, but I bet you're spending 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20,000. I don't know, but I bet it's a big number. I'd say probably a minimum $5,000 based on what I saw a few years ago. And for that money, it might be worth it, but how much time is Sean going to put into your channel? I think he's an inspiration. I think Sean as a human being is amazing, but how many people can he help one-on-one with all of the businesses he's running? I also bought a course from Income School that teaches you how to build an affiliate website. I bought a course from Channel Makers. I bought a channel audit from vidIQ. I bought a channel audit from Ed Lawrence of Film Booth. I bought a channel audit from Nate Black, who at the time was with Channel Makers. I bought courses and channel audits from like everybody with the thought that someone's going to see what I'm doing and be able to give me some guidance. And if I'm being honest, I enjoyed those sessions. And once again, they were kind of like a tip jar, but none of those people were able to dive into what I was doing because they were disconnected from it in a way. In that, on my primary channel, I make videos about tractors and excavators and chainsaws and sawmills and firewood and working outdoors. So if you come to me tomorrow and you say, I want to make a firewood channel and the videos are about firewood, like I know that inside and out. And if you want to do my mentorship program for 30 days, I'm going to be your best friend. I'm going to watch every video that you put out. I'm going to watch some of your old videos. I'm going to be texting you with ideas, and we're just going to attack this together. And I know your niche, and I understand where you're coming from. Now, if your channel was about sewing, I think it takes my effectiveness of helping you down to maybe 75% of what it would be in firewood. And if your channel is about gaming, I don't understand the world of online gaming. See, sewing relating to firewood, well, I don't know anything about sewing, but I understand that it's a practical endeavor and tutorials are going to be kind of the same, like product reviews. There's some connectivity in that it's a manual, practical thing for more of an older audience who wants to study a specific skill set. Whereas gaming, I don't understand the niche. So my effectiveness of helping you with your gaming channel might be 25 to 50% of what it is with something I know by heart. And that's kind of what I found with my channel audits that I paid for. They were able to give me some generalized advice, and I enjoyed the conversations, but I never walked away feeling like I had a new plan or a new direction to go in. And why is that? Well, it's probably because I wasn't paying those guys enough. They were really successful. They would seemingly have a waiting list of people wanting to buy these calls, and they were doing like multiple calls every week, and they can only put so much time into your channel. So with Ed Lawrence, I think I paid him maybe $500, and he announced in one of his recent videos that he started off doing $500 consultations. Then he went to $1,000, and then $2,000, and then he was doing $3,000 for a 1-hour consultation and decided it was no longer worth his time because the programs he had replaced that consulting with, and essentially to say, there's no way for me to charge enough to earn what I need to match what I would get from my other programs. And I want to make sure I can provide that much value back to you. So he completely stopped doing one-on-one calls. And when I got him for $500, he gave me a questionnaire. And this is nothing against Ed. Like, his videos have provided me so much value. He's awesome. But he gave me a questionnaire of like, what would you like to improve on? And I filled that out, and I think I filled it out so poorly that I didn't get any value from the session because he focused on what I asked him to. So working with all of these individual channel audits taught me lesson number 3. These guys are not in my niche. And the best mentor I could get is someone who's done exactly what I'm doing. Now I've got a 4th reason that these guys could not help your YouTube channel. They are too far removed from it. Some of these guys started a YouTube channel as they were already famous, and they had a huge amount of leverage to put towards it, and they have not gone through the dirt of starting with nothing and no one knows who you are, and you're trying to make videos about something that's very grounded, and they can't even relate to it because how would they? They've never been that. Now, I don't want that to be disrespect. We're talking about people who started with nothing in life and then built an empire. They're visionaries, they're legends, they're geniuses. But they did not start their YouTube channel where you're at, where you might just barely have enough money to get by, and you've got young kids, and your wife wants to go on vacation and you want to buy a YouTube camera. That's a different spot to be in, and it's not relatable to these guys in the way it's relatable for me and you. So I love all of these guys, and I think you should invest time in watching their videos. But as a mentor, they have not been where you are at trying to start the type of channel that you're starting, and you're not able to get direct access to those guys. So what does all this mean? Well, it's a direct sales pitch to say, you need to find a mentor who's done the exact thing you're trying to do. So if you're a guy over 40 trying to make videos about blue-collar topics, you need someone like me who will actually be able to put real time into trying to help you. That's what I want to do. I have this channel that you're watching right now because I have the heart of a teacher. I want to help people see the type of success I've seen on YouTube. And I think right now, today, I'm in a position where I can charge you a reasonable rate for a lot of my time and a lot of my energy. Probably a year from now, if this channel's successful, I won't be able to do that anymore. But I know exactly what it feels like to work really hard on a video and publish it and only get 100 views. Because this little channel right here that I just started, it's only getting 100 views per video right now. But I've had 3 other channels that went through this. I have a channel about my aquarium hobby that struggled and struggled, and now every video gets, 2, 3, 5,000 views. It's a process, and I have just recently been where you're at, and I'd like to help you get where I'm at. So if you're interested, you can click on my website, schedule a free call with me, sign up for one of the programs, whatever you want to do. The email address is in the video description. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more free content. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.